a book is a form of an asset. Why? Because like other examples of assets in a business are like patent, for example, is an asset, and design is an asset, and funnels, like if you want to do a funnel for your business, a marketing funnel, that's an asset. It will keep producing more and more. And a webinar, a video, a book is an asset because a book produces more in return. We'll explain the return on investment from a book as well, but you should consider book as an asset for your business. It's not just something you do just because you want to write a book. You want to create a book as an asset for your business. All right, and here's the return on investment from a book. There are two ways a book can produce returns for you. Direct returns, which come in the form of royalties, like you write a book and a book sells, someone buys that book, and there is the cost of producing the book, like printing the book, and the cost of retailers selling the book. They take a margin out of that, and what's left is called as the royalty, and that royalty is usually shared between the publisher and the author in various percentages. So that's the royalties for the book. Let's say paperback book, which is the physical book. Let's say the selling price of the book is 500 and cost of printing the book is, let's say, 100, and retailer margin is 150, let's say, and the royalty remaining is 250. Okay, and there's also digital distribution of books these days. Like people buy and consume books digitally, like Kindle version or online version, PDF version. So usually digital versions cost less than the physical edition. Need not be, but usually. So let's say selling price is 200 and the cost of printing is 0 because you don't print digital version, you just deliver electronically. But there is the retailer margin. Let's say Amazon sells your book to their user. They take a cut out of that, and the royalty again remains, comes back to the publisher at 140 rupees, let's say. So if you do a simple arithmetic here, the average return, let's say, is 195 from books published in both paperback and digital edition. So if your book sells 100 copies, you make 19,500 as royalties. If the book sells, let's say in 1 year, let's say it sells 1,000 copies, your return on investment, direct return on investment, is 195,000 rupees. What if books sell 10,000 copies? Quite possible. Like maybe you have something, a message that can benefit at least 10,000 people in this world of 7 billion people. Let's say 10,000 people buy your book. Direct returns would then be 19,50,000. Or let's say your book sells 1 lakh copies, then what happens? It is, how much is that? 1 crore 95 lakhs? Or there are instances where a book becomes viral, like it starts spreading from people to people who read the book, and then it goes to different countries and millions of copies are sold. Maybe you go to a bookstore and see 5 million copies sold, 10 million, 100 million copies sold. It's quite possible. So let's say 1 million copies of your book are sold, then you can see the direct return on investment. But that's not the point. Books also come with indirect returns, which are much, much more than the direct returns. In fact, most people who write business books, they are not even looking at direct returns at all. They are looking at indirect returns, which are way more profitable and fulfilling and meaningful for authors. It starts with, let's say, generating leads for your business. Maybe your business needs leads, which can produce a lot more than 250 rupees as royalty. If your book sells, you make 250 rupees as royalty. But if you get a lead for your business, maybe you will make 10 times more, 100 times more, 1,000 times more than this, right? Indirect returns also include consulting and coaching. Consultants and coaches get more clients through their books. That's how a book produces more return on investment for them. Sell physical products, sell software, SaaS products through books and video or information course. This will start getting more and more leads to your information or video course. And recruit employees. Zappos did this. The CEO of Zappos told me that before, there were a lot of startups out there and they were starting up. They had to compete to get the talent, the right talent, the good talent at very economical outlay, because they were not rich back then. So they had to recruit employees, and recruiting employees through a book that explained the culture at Zappos became a game changer for them. Promote services, paid masterminds, and creating a community of your own. This is a very good indirect return. You can launch your own workshops and seminars and events, and also raise money for causes. It's a very good indirect return. And also raise capital for startups. I have seen so many startups. Let's say you are a startup and you want to go and raise money for your business, and there are 10 other startups who are also competing with you, while they all come with their business card and you go with your business book. Imagine who gets the attention and trust of the investors. This has happened. These things have really happened, and the guy with the book almost always is getting the investment, getting the capital, right? Get speaking gigs, sometimes free, sometimes paid speaking gigs, and when people also go on stages, go on TV shows, go on radio shows after they become authors, because a book gives you that instant credibility and authority on your topic. And also save on taxes, because royalties from the sale of books to a certain extent are exempt from income tax. So you're also saving on taxes is also an indirect return from a book. So maybe some of this applies to, some of this doesn't apply to you, but most of this are really good return on investment from a book. So isn't it a lot of returns for an asset? Like when you buy an asset usually returns in one way, but a book is such a great asset that it will bring you returns in many, many, many different ways. Some of these ways you have not even thought of, right? That's the thing is, you have to build it right. That's the thing. Let me show you how. Now you have been in this industry for a long time. You have a great message that can really help and inspire a lot of people. I think you have a message and you are very observant on what's happening in the industry and keeping a tab on all the development, are you? So I believe you should write a book. And I want you to say to yourself, you should write a book.